just came from the library, didn't you? Yeah? Did you enjoy your visit?
Yeah. Get out of your way.
That's wonderful, because the library is very important to me.
Thank you.
As a matter of fact, I am one of the founding members of Medina Library and one of the founding members of the Medina Historical Society. I am Cora Munson Blakesly, and I am 99 years old. Please come on in. You don't have to crank your head around there, honey child. I was born out here in River Styx on the family farm. And 5 years, come on over this way, 5 years later, my brother Lyman was born. Oh, we were a wonderful family. My father was probate judge, and after he obtained the probate judgeship, he moved us right into Medina. He purchased a home, and it was named the Munson House. Well, I lived there all my life, except for the last few months of my life. My mother, Harriet Easton Munson, and my father, Albert Munson, lived there for 56 years. Can you imagine that? Well, Father had the judgeship for a while, and then when his term was up, he bought the Medina hardware business that was going on. Now, if you look down about three doors down there is a place called One Dog's Bakery Store. Oh, what a name! That's where the hardware store was. But up on top of the building, you will see the Munson name. As I said, we were a very close-knit family. We were very politically minded, and we were very charismatic in these afterworld, shall we say. I was a staunch Republican because I followed my father's footsteps. And during the time was when the emancipation came so ladies could vote. Well, I never missed a vote. And my father, as a political man, and that we believed in spiritualism, now you know what that is, surely. It's where you can talk to these spirits who have gone before us and are in the afterlife. You can have conversations and find out things from them that can be benefits to people on earth. Well, my father would hold a seance, and he told me, as I accompanied him at most of them, that he talked many times with past presidents of the United States and people in governing positions. Well, I soon began holding my own seances so I could talk to the people from Medina and the family. If you remember I mentioned that I was very interested in the Medina Historical Society. And I wanted them to be a strong society and to be here because Medina has so much history. And of course, I knew a lot of history. So what I did, I just went right ahead. Well, I forgot to tell you something before I tell you this. When we were working at the hardware, my father worked there, and my brother Lyman worked with him. And when Father passed away, Lyman took over the store, and of course I was working with him all the time. Well, life is so hard. Death is so hard. When my father died, it was bad because I missed him so, but two years after his death, my brother was removed from earth by death, and I was just devastated. Well, I finally had to compose myself because the business had to go on. I worked with that business and I was a success. Why, I didn't retire until 1938 and I was born in 1900, can you imagine? And at that time, but anyway, I was 81 years old. They say that I knew my nuts and bolts. Well, as I got to get back to the Historical Society. After my death, and after I retired, of course, it was a year after my death that the Historical Society opened in the Munson home in 1957. But they later moved up to the John Smart House on Elmwood. you folks can all go up there and find out how we used to live then. And then they moved the Munson house down at 141 Prospect. Oh, I love that house. I lived in it until just the last few months of my life. Well, I did say I was Cora Munson Blakesly. I was married. I had married Charles, and Charles was the director with the boys' choir up there at St. Paul's Episcopal Church. And he and I had the pastor, the priest from the Munson home, marry us. And he married us in the Munson home, right in the front parlor. The place was resplendent with pinks, pink flowers and pink this. And they tell me that I was stunning in my rose de chine gown that was decorated with lace, white lace and little pink stuff. I was an ecstatic bride. But Charles and I went on our honeymoon. We caught the train to go to Mount Vernon, which was his hometown. And we arrived at Mount Vernon at midnight. A few days later, I returned alone. Charles never returned. You ask why?
Yeah.
Well, I had a friend, Mrs. Velma Cochran, and I would divulge and tell her the secrets that I learned through my spiritualism of the people in Medina, and I'd had her say, you will never let those secrets pass your lips, and she never did. And I told her my secret, and I said, Mrs. Velma Cochran, you may not divulge that secret. And she didn't. She took it to her grave. As did I. Well, perhaps the spirits of the Munson house know my secret. But we will never know, will we?